Hello there.
Hello, imbecile.
Hello. All rise and like, subscribe, and bang the gavel, baby.
My computer, there it is. One more time. One more time now.
This thing's broke.
On tape delay today. My computer, I press a button and it just sits there. All right, welcome to We Got a Case. I look like a
Nice. You look fresh.
went a little too short, but there was a lot to get rid of. So
It'll come back, I promise.
it will, hopefully. We got a case. Let's do it. 2 hours of live courtroom drama unfolding in front of our very eyes. 6 days? 5 days of good.
A lot of days. Creed,
A lot of days.
she's trying to make me do Sundays. He said, Sundays. I'm like, no.
We try to talk the least we can. We are not lawyers, anything close to that. But we do love watching court. So there's that. So we're starting off with the Honorable Judge Cedric Simpson, I presume.
Yes, with a criminal docket today. So he's sentencing folks and things like that. We're hearing about some great crime.
Are you sure it's just not one adjournment after the next? Because that's what
no. He sentenced a couple people already since I've been
Okay.
watching. A couple
All
of
right.
feisty ones at that.
All right.
Either a
I'm
parent
ready.
or grandparent could do. He just put his foot down and he just said no more. The remarkable thing now that as I listened to him today,
Look at the attorney down here at the bottom. He is
is
eating
that
up a
through all
storm.
of that, and that was probably
Chinese,
some
it
of the hardest
would
things
appear.
he had to do
He sure is. I'm jealous.
to his granddaughter. He never stopped loving her.
He stopped loving
And that was
her
exemplified
today.
just by what he said here today.
Well, he's more than my grandfather, Your Honor. He's raised me since I was in my mother's womb. He's my daddy.
Yeah, I'm also aware of that.
Okay, but she said that kind of weird.
Yeah. It's not really the way you
And
want to
then
say that.
even after
No.
all you put it through,
Is he?
all he comes here to a sentencing
Was that the old man
in a
right there?
circumstance where you assaulted them.
I don't know what Felicia thinks so goddamn funny right now.
I don't either.
And
That
all he
smirk
wants to
off
do
your
is
face.
impart another lesson to you in life to make your life better.
Which
She
one's
said
her
that
grandpa?
weird. Then
That's
she said
amazing.
womb and then daddy and
There aren't a whole lot of people, Ms. Laraway, that have it in them to have that grace.
No, Your Honor, they don't. And I want to spend as much time on this earth as I can with them. And that is part of my plan and goal is to be a family again.
You're lucky you have the opportunity.
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
On the 205 case, I think it is. I will order payments at $25 per month. When are you going to begin that?
Today.
I will be getting that either tomorrow or Friday.
Here's what I'll do. $25 a month beginning May 1st,
Yes, Your Honor.
then every month
Start to think that
thereafter.
Okay.
$25. Wow, that's the deal.
The-
It's a century. Whoa,
well,
what's
she
going on
wasn't
here?
kidding. That's the end of a chase in Rhode Island.
Can you re-rack it?
Thank you, Elizabeth. I cannot. It's on their sites. You can't do anything, but that's the end of it. Thank you, Elizabeth. Good. We just missed it, huh?
Damn.
Oh, they're going to show it for us, I guess.
Recorded earlier.
They just went to that. Gosh, I can't even get there's no volume. And
leaving Massachusetts, heading down toward Rhode Island.
Well, here's
this is a person who thought that a good choice and a good decision was taking off from being pulled over by state police, or for whatever reason, he wanted to get away.
The Bearcat's there, so does that mean he's in the car still?
Willing to lead police on.
Yeah, this is live. Well, look at all the
across
people
two
there with
states
pew-pews.
for more than an hour. For whatever reason, this person does not want to be taken into custody.
Yeah, I hope it's a woman.
And we don't know
More than an hour.
Of things, sometimes people are having some type of a crisis, whether it's mental health or some kind
Sure.
of emotional crisis. Don't know the circumstances of the stop.
Can we take this person straight to
Don't know
court?
what was happening before that.
Yeah, to fit in,
There are a number of questions that still need to be
Fit in
answered.
what we're doing here?
Tell you what we'll do. We'll go back to court. I'll keep this up over here, and if I see anything happening, we'll jump to.
There's to be no use
Perfect.
of alcohol, marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to testing as directed by probation. You're to complete 25 hours of community service as directed by probation. I'll set a review hearing on this matter for May 11, 2022 at 9 a.m. 30 days in jail. That is suspended.
Stop it.
Thank
It was
you.
not live for like 2 seconds.
Thank you, Your Honor. For Carl's case, the people versus Felicia
I figured that with the 40 pew-pews.
Adesina.
Thank you so much for the heads up, man. That's
Assistant
awesome.
Public Defender Brian J. Craig on
See many
behalf
out
of
of
Ms. Russell-Adesina. Ma'am, will you please
that
unmute
area.
yourself and state your
I think
name
I've
for the
seen
record,
two.
please?
In 2 years.
She's here.
Felicia Russell-Adesina.
Adesina. I knew I was saying it wrong. All right. Okay.
Thank you. My apologies as well. Your Honor, today's date and time set for sentencing. In this case, I did have the pleasure of speaking with Ms. Russell-Adesina. In preparation for today's hearing, we reviewed the recommendation and the assessment. In this case, we find to be factually accurate. There are no errors.
Afternoon.
Over there on the Facebook.
We'd ask you please adopt the recommendation in full. And I do believe my client, as we discussed, would like to make a brief statement to the court in terms of prior to you imposing the sentence in this matter.
Another motorcycle chase, Dennis? Are you
Go
sure?
ahead.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
That would be 3 in
First
like
of all, I'd
4
like
days.
to apologize to the court and
I think Stu
also
went to the end of
County
one.
Washtenaw,
Yeah.
for my offense,
That's weird. We don't see a lot of.
being that I know firsthand how drunk driving can ruin lives. However, I'm grateful that no one was hurt by my irresponsibility. I'm very
I never
sorry
guessed Miss Russell
that
was
this all
a drunk
happened in the
driver.
First place.
Real quick, I want to show you. There's a lot of people on the scene.
Holy crap, there's a lot
Yeah.
of people on the scene.
They brought everybody out. I mean,
Every gray car in the entire
yes.
state of Rhode Island is there and prepared.
God.
Plus other issues, and please accept my apology.
Wait a minute.
All right, so this is a pit that we missed coming
Yep.
in hot.
That would be the end. That was a good, successful pit. And by the way, proper amount of crap in the back.
Actually, there really is spare
Really?
tire. Oh, we've moved to this side of this
Reasonable
vehicle.
grounds to depart from the presumption of the non-probationary sentence, particularly the alcohol screening assessment identifies the benefit of outpatient substance abuse treatment
Fire
and
cap.
attendance at AA meetings. Therefore, a probationary sentence will be imposed with the stated rehabilitative goals to promote change, to prevent recidivism, and to monitor compliance with recommended treatment. Is therefore the sentence of the court. I'm placing you on 18 months probation. You're to pay $1,055 fines and court costs,
Move.
$100 prosecution recovery costs, $100 police agency recovery costs, $540 probation oversight fees. When can you pay that, man?
Well, I can have a payment this Friday, $300. And if the court does grant me the opportunity to pay over the probationary time,
What I will do is you're to pay $300 this Friday. Balance is arranged by probation.
all right.
She doesn't seem.
There's
She
to be
seems
no
like a
use of
nice
alcohol,
grandmother or
recreational
something.
Marijuana or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing.
I
as
think
requested
Felicia's
by
drunk now
probation.
because when she was talking,
Complete
when they were
substance
talking
abuse
about,
programming at
She was
Maple Grove,
laughing.
follow all
Yeah, she's sitting there
treatment
laughing.
recommendations, Status reports to
Maybe.
probation. You're to attend a minimum of 3 A meetings per week with monthly verification to probation. You're to provide proof of the victim's impact panel attendance to probation.
Plus,
You
is
are
that
to continue
true?
on the sober link for a period of 30 days in lieu of the additional 4 days in jail.
That would make
I
sense.
will order 180 days in jail credit. The balance is suspended.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Good
I
luck.
will make this announcement one time
Court calls
today,
case of the People
as I
versus
did
Amber
numerous
Swanson.
times yesterday. That is a high-profile court case
Amber
that
Harris with
television networks pay buco dollars in licensing fees to watch. Anything that you're going to see on court TV or any high-profile court case like that,
they're paying for it.
We'll get our channel taken away from us. Now, there are going to be some people that are going to risk that, that don't care, that will rebroadcast that. Us, though, a lot of hard work put in to just lose the channel. That's why you're not going to see any of that on here, because, again, you got to pay to play.
And look, I will go ahead and say this. About 3 weeks ago, I asked for permission, and I'm still waiting on
Holly
being granted permission so that we can use, was it the Law and Crime Network or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
So if they grant us permission, then we'll start watching some of their stuff and get some of those more high-profile cases on.
You're still not going to get anything with the live high-profile cases. Holly, I'll see you Monday. Hopefully with a
not the highest profile, but just a little higher.
Yeah,
than what we're doing here.
True, yeah.
Just a little higher. Yeah. So yeah.
Amber Swanson. Your Honor, I do know that Miss Swanson is not checked in. I have been in contact with her. She did send an email back to me in regards to this case this morning around 8 o'clock. She did let me know that she was currently in the hospital. She was just diagnosed with uterine cancer. She has had to go over extensive surgery within the last few months. And they also just recently found a tumor on her breast. She said that she can email and provide all of the information of her current status to the necessary people that it does need to be provided.
We'd be the one people that got in trouble.
High press.
And she did want to apologize for not letting anyone know about the situation sooner than today. But she is just asking for a brief adjournment in this case.
I will adjourn this matter out May 11, 2022.
Nathan, listen, if you can get a hold of Bishop, feel free and get an answer for me, because I'd love to know.
Court calls case of People versus James
He's
Williams.
spraying a old paper mill right
Amber
now.
Harris with
He'll
on
get back
behalf
to
of
us.
Mr. James Williams. Mr. Williams, if you are present, can you please unmute and state your
It's
name?
not a
for the
meme and
record?
it's not a joke. We don't hear from it. Ask a question, it goes dark.
We're still waiting to hear back. Is Knox answer?
Your Honor, it is
Knox
scheduled
has
for
said
a
anything
sentencing.
either.
Mr.
I
Williams
didn't even ask him, so I
did
started
not
to beef
complete
on
his alcohol screening and assessment. Given that he did not follow through with that and is not here today, probation would ask for a bench warrant.
I'm sorry, if I may just speak. I know I was in contact with Mr. Williams and he was supposed to be here today. I did send him the Zoom link. I would just ask if we could briefly pass the matter. I know I did speak with him about failing to complete the alcohol assessment.
I got to
He
restart.
said that,
Give me
because
just
he
a
has
minute.
previously been
I
charged
can't
with
get
a
it.
crime before.
It's
And
bad.
he completed
Go
one
ahead.
about a year ago.
It's them,
So
not
he
us.
thought
Go
that
ahead.
that was that he didn't have to complete another one because he's already completed one. But I did let him know that he does have
Our
to
guy.
complete it again.
What's going on, buddy?
If we could just briefly pass the matter so I can call Mr. Williams.
You need to probably get him here because he posted a bond and it's going to be forfeited. Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bond 5,000, cash as surety. That warrant will issue immediately. It's not his first warrant. He knew to be here. Court calls case People versus Anastasia.
Just ordered the arrest of that gentleman who didn't
Amber
appear.
Harris with on behalf of Miss Anastasia Wright. Miss
Yeah,
Wright, if
she's
you
nice.
are present,
Very
can you
easy
please
on the
unmute and state
eyes.
your name for the record?
Yes, I'm present. Anastasia Wright.
Why didn't you complete your PSI?
I do too.
It was just like I suppose a miscommunication between me and the lady who contacted me. When I spoke with her earlier that morning, we set a time for her to call me at 3 o'clock. And I did not receive a phone call until about 3:45.
The TARDIS.
And at that time I was entering into a Zoom meeting with my teacher. So I was unable to call her back on that same day. So when I contacted them back, they said that I wouldn't be able to do the PSI on the day that I called, and that I would have to come before you to see if I can get another appointment scheduled. So in that time, I contacted the public defender, and she was able to get another appointment scheduled for me for, I believe, next week, Wednesday.
Yeah, April the 22nd at 10 a.m.
You had all the time in the world to do this.
With Miss Blair yesterday for Miss Wright. She is asking that the $75 re-referral fee be waived. I know that Miss Wright is in class, and that does take up majority of her time as to why she hasn't been able to complete the PSI.
So
I have talked.
She needs to get it done.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna update the court. I can tell you that there was an email that was sent to her on March 21st, instructing her to complete the packet. On March 23rd, I called her, left her a voicemail, instructing her to get that done. On March 28th, she had called and left a message needing help with that. March 31st, we called her back. Her mailbox was full. On April 7th, we contacted her again to get the appointment scheduled and left a message. She did call back. One was scheduled for later in the day. I did call her. I left a message, and she did not call this office back until yesterday.
Uh-oh. Now what?
I will refer to defendant to probation for a PSI. You need to make sure to follow through with that and make it your first priority. Defendant is to pay a $75 re-referral fee. She's to pay that today. I'll adjourn her sentencing to May 11th, 2022, 9 a.m. Thank you.
She got lucky. She got lucky.
That's it for the 12 o'clock. All right, we have one more block. We're running a bit behind. I'm going to take a brief recess. Let's get set up, get a set list out to everybody, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up.
Get your set list up, everybody, because we're going to jump to something else while he's adjourning for a second. Should we watch the Johnny Depp stuff while Creed's gone? Yeah, Creed's gone. We'll do what we want. We'll go crazy.
Hello?
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 Hello? Who's there? Caller? I think there's somebody on the phone. Maybe it was a request. They wanted to hear some Alter Bridge. They don't care what song, just some Alter Bridge. Alrighty. We'll jump over here. No, we're not jumping into that. I'm not watching dependency hearings. We'll jump to some first appearance stuff. You know, see me really big for a second. Looking handsome as ever. Damn, it should be against the law to look this good. Checking in with everybody in just a second because Creed's gone and I have to jump out of Cedric because he decided he wanted to take a short break. That's all right. We got first appearances.
School, attended the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, but did not complete that. Your Honor, it's my understanding he has a Cobb County hold and will be transferred there. When the officers ran his name, he told the officers that he had some contraband on him or suspected contraband. So he complied with the police, allowed himself to get arrested. State and I have worked out a UJR in this case and just ask that you accept that.
State, you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. There was a very small amount of drugs found in this case, and they fall under our office's COVID reduction policy. That's why the state is agreeing to UJR with special condition, no drugs.
All right.
Could have been Creed. Maybe it was Creed yelling.
Special condition as well.
We did. I went over that with my client, and we'd waive if Your Honor signs that.
No problem. So, Mr. Moselle, I reviewed your criminal history based on the representation by your attorney. I'm going to accept the resolution that he's negotiated on your behalf. So you're going to be granted an unsecured judicial release. We call it UJR for short. It's what everybody has always known is a signature bond. That means you'll be able to sign your own bond. You won't have to come out of pocket any money. You won't have to go through a bonding company. There will be a special condition, sir, attached to that bond. As a special condition of the UJR, you are not permitted to consume any illegal narcotics or any illegal drugs. The exception, of course, would be over-the-counter medication and any drugs prescribed by a doctor. But that's going to be the special condition attached to your bond. So
hopefully everybody remembers real quick.
An electronic
Judge Williams
so
and ADA SAP.
You will get a copy of it.
Mortal
While
enemies.
he's doing that, Mr. Mack, will your client be waiving probable cause?
We will.
All right,
What does
so
she
Mr.
feel like
Mosley,
walking on
I
eggshells
need
with her?
your signature twice on that electronic
She was all
signature pad,
stuttering.
one for the special condition, one for the waiver of your probable cause hearing. Now, understand this, your attorney says you do have a hold out of Cobb County. So even though this is a signature bond, you will not be released. You will be transferred to Cobb County.
Condition saved.
All right, Mr. Mack, anything else on Mr. Mosley?
No, thank you, Judge, and thank you, Ms. Sapp.
Mr. Mosley, that concludes your first appearance hearing. I'm going to ask that you please follow the direction of my deputies.
I like that. The best thing he could say about that person a while ago was,
let me complete.
Oh, no, I just bought these. These are brand new. Brand new. From the Best Buy.
UJR.
Yes, of course we are. Aren't all glasses wearing white men?
Print that special condition.
Best thing he had to say about that guy.
Our position number 11 is
he graduated high school.
Scott, come on up, Mr. Scott.
Hey, David.
Adjournment team for Mr. Scott.
Ms. McKean, your client's charged.
Making jokes about her, you're going to get punched in the face by Will.
Particulars in the warrants.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Scott, you are charged in 6 warrants. You have the right to have these warrants read to you here in open court. Your attorney, however, has waived the reading of your warrants here in open court. Do you understand what you're charged with, sir? I'm sorry, Mr. Scott, I didn't hear from you. Yes. You understand what you're charged with?
Deputy,
I'm sorry, I'm having some difficulty hearing the response.
Yes.
All right. So your warrant numbers all begin with 22W. There's 005 476 477 478 479 480 and 481.
Same here.
Ms. Mateen, you want to present what you worked out on your client's behalf?
Yes, Your Honor. We have come to an agreement with the state in the amount of a $2,000 bond with no special conditions.
Anything else, ma'am?
Yeah, just a little bit of background about Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott is a lifelong Georgia resident. He's 21 years old. He currently lives in Snellville, Georgia. He's been living at the address for the past 7 years, and he lives there with his mother. He graduated high school in 2017, and he also got a degree from barber school in 2017.
She didn't used to be.
He operates as a barber on Gresham. He's been doing that for about 3 years. And
summer cut.
We would just hope that you would be able to get that $2,000 bond.
All right, Ms. Sapp, you want to be heard on the issue of bond?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state will agree to a $2,000 bond based on the facts and the criminal history.
All righty. So, Mr. Scott, I reviewed your criminal history, and based on the representation of your attorney, I am going to accept the resolution that she negotiated on your behalf. I'm going to set your total bond at $2,000. It will be a regular bond. That means you should be able to go through a bonding company, and there will be no special conditions attached to the bond. Ms. Mateen, will your client be waiving probable cause, or you want to reserve it?
I would like to reserve, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else?
Do you think it's harder or easier to get graduate from
Scott,
barber school than it is cosmetology?
Follow the direction of my deputy. Miranda is going to be 1,000 on the fleeing and 200 on the remaining charges.
Went to barber school.
Now, I understand y'all have some other cases that were resolved. Unfortunately, I did not do any pre-work on them. So we're going to go down the calendar. Position number 1, Yuri Majesty Akazashah Ali Elbey.
Yes.
If I didn't say that correct.
You butchered
Yes,
it,
Your Honor, that is Mr. Ali Elbey, and that will be Miss Taylor on his behalf.
All right.
Her VHS needs a little tweaking there, Havens.
Case, please.
You know when the movie starts.
I'm
you
waiting,
get
I'm
blind.
waiting for a jump scare to start happen any minute now with this video. She's gonna turn into like a vampire or something real quick. There you go. There you go. Ooh, the dreaded strings.
Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
Okay, so, sir, let me remind you that
Your
the
Majesty.
hearing is being recorded.
Your
So
Majesty.
anything you say here today will be recorded, maybe used against you at a later hearing. Let me
You
also
stir my
remind you that
loins,
you have
Your
an
Majesty.
attorney. And if you wish to address the court, your attorney will probably wish to address you first. Thirdly,
Here's my happy Easter, Hal.
I will find out if I need to hear from you. And right now I do not. All right.
This guy. Braggart.
So, Ms. Taylor, your client's charged in 3 warrants. Do you waive reading of the charges and the particulars in the warrants?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Ali Elbey, you are charged in warrant numbers 22W005465, 22W005.
I got parole pulled up. We'll jump over and catch up parole hearing after.
Of course, you have the
Yeah, I
right
just
to
want
have
to see what
these
he's
warrants
got
read
to.
to you here in open court. Your attorney has waived
It's
the
gonna be a
reading
little
of your warrants here
Your
in
Majesty.
open court.
Larry's got a lot
Understand what you are
of family
charged
there
with.
talking good for him.
Yes.
Now is when I need to hear from you. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to hear from your attorney on what she's been able to work out on your behalf, and then I'll hear from the state. Ms. Taylor?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Ali Elbey, he has been in Georgia for his entire adult life, I believe since 1995. So when he's released, he's going to be living in Tucker, Georgia, and it'll be at the same address he's had for about 2 years now. The incident location seems to be a social area, so he doesn't have a reason that he would have to be there. So he is fine with the do not return condition to that location. He's also married. He has a 12-year-old child, and he does not have any prior criminal history whatsoever. He does have a stable employment history. He was working at a private car service about 20 years. And so he also has finished about 3 years of college
Limo
at
driver.
Atlanta Metro. He does have some blood pressure issues. He hasn't received the medication yet, but we are going to work with the jail to make sure that he does receive that. Because he's very, very adamantly denies the allegations in the warrant. We are requesting that the court agree to the consent
He also
of
needs
the
kosher meals
UJR
while he's in.
with the do not return to the incident location condition.
Now tell me about this incident location. You
She
said
said
it's a
that wrong,
social-
right?
social something. Maybe I lost it. Tell me
Business
what
was
is it?
around for 20 years.
Yes, Your Honor. It seems like it's there are like some bars in that area, and so it seems to be like kind of a hangout spot. So it's not anything, it's not like a work address or anything like that where he would have to be returning there. He would be able to comply with the do not return.
Got it. All right. Thank you very much. Ms. Sapp, you want to be heard?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state will agree to UJR and do not return to the incident location, which is 4505 Ashford Downwoody Road. There are restaurants and shops there. It was a very much busy and commercial area. So we will be asking for the special condition in this case.
She's really starting to glitch now. It's starting to like pop a little bit.
And I think the warrant calls it Park Place. So is that a plaza or something like that?
Yes, Your Honor. It's a plaza with shops.
Okay.
Is that where the Peach Pit is?
Geez, that was a bar hangout spot, so that's how I depicted it.
Well, is there any other better hangout spot than the Peach Pit?
Beating
nice
up a guy. Yeah, look how happy the son was to be there.
What happened to the person that fell down?
All right, so Mr. Elbey, based
been a
on
fight
your
with
life
Mr.
criminal
Elbey.
history and the representations made by your attorney, I will accept the resolution.
We missed a granted parole there. Look at all these. You got
That means you will not have to go to a bonding company. You
Bet
won't
he
have to
didn't
come
have
out of
400
pocket
years
any
though
money.
taken off.
There will, however, be a special condition on your bond that requires you to do not return to Park Place Shopping Plaza at 4505 Ashford Dunwoody Road, 30346. My deputy's going to hand you a signature pad so you can sign that special condition. You will get a copy of it. While he's signing, Ms. Taylor, will your client also be waiving probable cause since he's got a UJR?
I hear enough
We would like to
stories from
reserve
my
the,
wife.
Preliminary hearing, Your Honor.
All right.
Some of the things she got going on is crazy.
No.
I think you can do that because of the stay away.
She's probably crying her eyes out all night knowing she had to come
Which
before
condition,
Judge
sir?
Williams again.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And
Awkward.
Ms. Taylor, you do understand that if you wish to have the client's case set down for probable cause hearing, you will have to file a separate motion with the magistrate court to have that done.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else on Mr. Ali Elbey?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Mr. Elbey, that concludes your first appearance hearing. Please follow the direction of my deputies.
Her deputy, not ours, hers.
Lakia Blair, come on up to the
I was
podium.
gonna say we got a woman.
And that will also be Ms. Taylor for Ms. Blair, Your Honor.
All right, let me pull up the info.
Oh, she's always got a good bow tie happening.
got
We're waiting on Corey Page, inmate 345030. Up next. We'll jump over to that when they come back.
Can you imagine? Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna do the whole thing. It's like found footage of this attorney.
Yeah.
We found this this footage. Nobody's ever seen it before.
Ms. Blair is charged in one warrant. Do you waive reading of the charge and the particulars in the warrant?
Or squirt water.
All right. Ms. Blair, you're charged in warrant number 22W005491. You have the right to have this warrant read to you here in
Been
open
bad,
court.
Miss Blair.
Your attorney, however, has waived the reading of your warrant here in open court. Ma'am, do you understand what you're charged with? Yes, ma'am.
No OG tonight.
I will
I
hear
just
from
got
your
that in my
attorney,
ear from
on what
upstairs.
she's been able to negotiate on your behalf. Ms. Taylor?
Pretty much
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Blair has been in Georgia for about a decade already. She's been at their address the entire time with her parents. She has other family here. Her grandma, aunts, uncles, everyone is all in Georgia.
Hey, she doesn't live
so
here
will
on
be staying in
Earth.
the
I mean,
area
there's
throughout
not
this
much
case.
sun where she's at.
She does not have
Not
any
around.
criminal history at all.
She's on our land of the moon.
But she is also let me know that she doesn't have any problem with the special condition to do not return to the Macy's.
She is practicing law of
she
a fallout
is
bunker.
Not working there and is
least you went
looking
to
for
the
a different
Macy's.
job.
I mean, it
So
could be
she
worse
does
than
not have a
Dollar General.
problem doing that. She does have asthma and a history of seizures, but she told me that
Oh.
she seems to be doing all right now and has alerted the jail, but it is a little bit of a higher risk, I know, receiving the medical attention while she's in jail.
2 times in a
So
row
we do
she's
wanna
brought up
get her
medical
out and get that
conditions somebody
addressed.
has.
But her main goal going forward is just finishing her bachelor's. She was going for marketing. So she finished half of her degree, but then they went virtual during COVID and she started struggling. So she wants to get back to doing that, but is just trying to save up some money.
Does
I think
anybody
with the
listen
break
to that?
in,
like,
learning
they were hurt
loans
during
and everything
COVID
gets
or something
complicated. So
happened.
she's
You know what
kind
I
of
mean?
navigating that during
No, I don't think
COVID.
so. I think that's
what
And
was
so
mentioned.
for all of those reasons, we are requesting that this court just agree to the consent for the UJR and the do not return to the Macy's in DeKalb County.
Ms. Sapp, you want to be heard?
Thank you, Your Honor.
She was
The state
studying
will
marketing
agree
at
to,
Macy's.
UJR and do not return to any Macy's in DeKalb
Any
based on the
Macy's.
fact that she didn't have any prior criminal history. So that will be the state's recommendation.
All right. So, Ms. Blair, I've reviewed your criminal history, but based on your attorney's
wow, see,
representation, I am
that's
going
crazy.
to grant you the unsecured judicial release. We call it a UJR, formerly known as a signature bond. There is a special condition attached to your bond that requires that you do not return to the Macy's at Perimeter Mall. I'm not going to grant the state's request to ban her from all Macy's. there's nothing in her criminal history or in this case that would
only one Macy's. That's good.
give me any reason to do that. So, ma'am, my deputy's going to hand you an electronic signature pad so you can sign that special condition. You will get a copy of it.
Yeah.
Ms. Taylor, will your client be waiving probable cause?
Yes, since there's no special condition, we will go ahead and waive probable cause hearing.
Well,
Your
the
Honor,
special
she was
condition
trying to
is that
work
she do
as
not
a
return
loss
to the
prevention
Macy's at
officer.
Perimeter Mall. So here's the thing: she can go to the mall. She can't go to Macy's.
She's doing an
There's a-
audit,
and this,
a
this is
self-audit to see how
only for
good the
that
loss prevention
particular
was.
Macy's. I want to be real clear that this
Wait a
court is
minute.
not
They did a good job. She
banning
got caught.
folks from any and all locations. But I am going to take into consideration the location of the allegations.
She can still go to the mall, even just not.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not going to ban her from
Blair,
every
my deputy's
location.
going to hand you an electronic signature pad so you can sign the waiver of
Exactly.
the probable cause hearing.
Any
as
other
well.
Macy's in America, you can go steal there. That's fine. Just not the one at the mall.
Yeah, it's just a complete test of their loss prevention. She wanted to see, and she was going to market to them an idea how to stop people like her.
Thanks, Glenn. I mean, there's an entire 90-minute slot stream of Creed going off on one. So.
All right, Ms.
Yeah,
Taylor, anything
Creed
else
went all
on
golden
Ms.
slots
Blair?
in that one. I saw it.
Ms. Blair, that concludes your first appearance hearing, ma'am. Please follow the direction of my deputy. Maranthea, you should be able to print that special condition.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You are welcome.
Ooh, those are expensive and painful.
Number 7 is a resolution.
Still over here waiting. They must have went to lunch or something. Went to the Golden Corral.
Maybe the other guy escaped.
Be Ms.
Good for
Taylor
you, Corey.
or Mr. Dennis.
All right, let me
Another one here.
the, case.
No more coming back to the Macy's. Have you ever shopped at a Macy's? It's kind of expensive. I just walk through them. I don't shop there.
Oh no, I just that's any of those. You always know have a bathroom, so you can.
Very clean one.
No shopping at a Macy's for me.
All right, Mr. Dennis is charged in one warrant. You waive reading of the charge and the particulars.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Where will this person be banned from?
Mr. Dennis, you're charged in warrant number 22W005489. You have the right to have this warrant read to you here in open court. Your attorney has waived the reading of your warrant here in open court. Sir, do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to hear from your attorney on what she's been able to
Yes.
negotiate on your behalf, and then I'll hear from the state as well. Ms. Taylor?
Thank you, Your Honor. When Mr. Dennis is released, he's going to go back and be living with his grandma. She lives here in Atlanta, and so his entire family's here. He has his grandma, both of his parents, his brother, and his girlfriend, he's been in a relationship with for a while now. So he does have it's a shorter criminal history, but I did talk to him about it, and so he is now aware of the open warrant, and he wants to go address that, and has already been since he found out, has already been working on trying to address that. In this case specifically, we believe that the alleged victim does have the vehicle, so there's not property outstanding at least. But he doesn't know the alleged victim, so he would be fine with the stay away condition. We don't think it's necessary. He doesn't have
Hallelujah! Thank you for the
contact,
5
is not
blows.
close with her, but he did say that he would be fine with complying with that. He does right now have a job. He constructs swimming pools. So he's been doing that for a few months already, and he was able to get in touch with his manager, and he will be able to do that when he's released. So he had some
Been
struggles
arrested.
with school,
Come
but he
on
worked
back.
really hard to finish his GED, and he actually got it just before COVID
Excuse me,
hit.
it's GED.
And so for those reasons, we are just asking that the court grant a bond that would be reasonable for his financial status, which would be $7,000. Plus, like I said, he would consent to the stay away from the alleged victim in the case.
All right. Ms. Sapp, you want to be heard?
Thank you, Your Honor. Victim advocate of our office was able to reach and speak with the victim in this case. She said that the car was taken from her apartment and she wants a stay away order from her apartment, which is reserved Decatur. She does got her car back, but it was damaged, and she said she will be seeking restitution for her deductible. So the stay will agree to a $7,000 regular bond and stay away from the apartment.
10 G's or
I'm a little
7.
confused. What I heard from one is to stay away from the victim. The state is saying stay away from the location.
Be
Have y'all talked
careful.
about that?
Your Honor, we before court agreed
Won't
to
have to get
stay
that
away
bail
from
money
the
together.
victim. We'll stick to the special condition in the consent because that will mean that he has to stay away from the apartment complex as well.
All righty. So, Mr. Dennis, I've reviewed the criminal history, and based on the representation of your attorney, I'm going to accept the resolution that she negotiated on your behalf. I'm going to set your bond at $7,000. It will be a cash or surety. I like to call it a regular bond. That just simply means you'll be able to go through a bonding company. There will be a special condition attached to your bond, and it requires that you stay away. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Directly or indirectly by person, telephone, and any other means of communication from the person, home, job, or school of the alleged victim. I'm going to place that person's name in the special condition.
Thank you, Felicia.
And what that simply means, sir, is no talking, no texting,
7
no tweeting, no sending messages through friends,
No sending
family,
any
Facebook,
flowers.
otherwise. If you have any contact with the
No
alleged
borrowing
victim
her car
whatsoever,
again.
whether it's direct contact or indirect contact, the contact alone is enough to violate your special condition. If you violate the special condition, 2 things can happen. This bond can be revoked and you'll be
TK.
facing additional charges.
Thank you,
So
God.
stay away means stay away. My deputy's going to hand you an electronic signature pad so you can sign that special condition. You will get a copy of it. Ms. Taylor, I'm assuming your client will not be waiving probable cause.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All righty.
You'll right, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Taylor, anything else?
We're pretty much
on
almost out of people over here.
Mr.
Almost.
Dennis?
What you
Yeah, I was
got?
going to say, while
Nothing
they're
else, Your Honor.
signing there, I just want you to see Danielle. And let's figure this one out together.
Your Honor,
Yes.
just for clarification for the clerk, so we're not continuing it 2 weeks regarding the father?
That's correct.
Thank you,
Thank you,
TK.
Your Honor.
That being said, if Mr. Arts wants to note something up after he talked to his client, if there's a change in circumstances or new evidence, new facts that are brought forward, I certainly would entertain changing the order. If
What are you
that's
thinking?
appropriate.
Is it a
Thank you.
So,
birthmark or
thank you
just
very
a
much.
wild ass?
32 on the
I think
docket,
somebody hit her.
101-14, Richie Ball.
Been in a wreck.
Thank you, Honor. Erin Riley representing on this matter. Social workers is Miss Maddox. The youth is represented by Miss Bishop. Mr. Arns is representing the adoptive mother in this case.
Anne's got some great hair.
There was a meeting previously with the parties where an agreement had been reached, at least amongst the parties that were there. My understanding is Mr. Arns was going to go over that agreement with his client.
Terrence, you wouldn't know this, but he's kind of a badass. He plays guitar.
Earlier, I did provide a written draft as well.
Oh, I'm embarrassed you saw that.
So I'll have to defer to Mr. Arns. I know that Ms. Bishop had expressed a concern about a little bit of the language as to the her client's counseling or continued counseling. So that may need to change as well. So I'll defer to those parties as to where we're at.
All right, Mr. Arts.
Thank you, Your Honor. Terrence Arts, I'm counsel for Lois Ball on this case. We do have an agreement in principle with my client. My client is,
we need them.
It's important for my client to be able to have time to go over it and for me to go over this with her. Unfortunately, due to my own medical circumstances, I had to avoid contact with her over the last week, so I have not had an opportunity to sit down with her. But as I said, I do know that we have an agreement in principle. It's just a matter of making sure that she understands completely what she's getting into.
Hello, Lynn.
Simply ask that
Hi,
that we can set this over so I can do that, and then we can get an agreed order entered.
Perfect. All right, thank you, Mr. Arts. I appreciate that. All right, Ms. Riley, I assume no objection.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen this
wanted to
judge
check to see
before.
there is
I
a
haven't either.
Yeah, we have, because we've made mistaken jokes
It's a
and
little ways out. I
references.
think it's the end of the month.
We didn't stay very long.
So I would
Okay.
1 week.
just 1 week continuance, I think, if that works. Yeah, it's the 28th and 29th, Your Honor. So
Yeah, I love medical problem. Could sit face to face, like we're doing now here.
and we're not striking
Well,
that point yet. So
Good way to get out of it.
All right, So 1 week. that's All right. okay. Yep. And Ms. Bishop, any objection to 1 week?
No, Your
Miss
Honor,
Bishop.
that would give me time to
Thought she was busy
negotiate
today.
language that I had taken issue with. Thank you.
Yes, and we can work that out. All right, Ms. McAvoy, I assume no objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
I like
All right,
this
1
guy.
week. All right, we're gonna
I can
we're
see
gonna take
he.
our morning recess. It is 10:45.
I can see he
now,
keeps
so
it.
15 minutes
Keeps
for
it
some
moved.
Both those things don't work.
Lindsay looking good. Cardboard cutout.
As always, she
All right,
looks
release
great.
on a person recognizing bond subject conditions placed on the
Let's
record.
have a
Failed
beard
to appear
as
for a
nice
court date
as,
or violate a bond condition or failed to appear at community corrections for drug testing as ordered, a warrant would issue for arrest. You understand that?
This is
Yeah,
a
I have to go there
criminal
within 48
slash
hours, you said?
Traffic.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. BRB got to send
so
the
by
wife
Wednesday,
some
Friday.
money.
Okay.
Money.
All right, you're all set.
She's stuck at the office and has to get
Yep,
door
you too.
dashed. Hardly have any money.
Then you don't eat, do you? You don't eat. Don't tell me this judge is leaving. I'll get mad as hell if that happens. See me throw a fit. Judge, are you bringing somebody else in or what? Oh, here we go. Mr. Miner, welcome. Have a seat. Oh, yeah, this bookcase. This bookcase is way better. You kidding me? She come in here with that weak mess, weak sauce. Don't forget today's Wild Woman Wednesday. We got stuff from a Walmart. We've got stuff from all over the place. So make sure you're here for Wild Woman Wednesday because anything is possible when it's a woman.
All right, Mr. Miner, you're muted. Lower part of your screen unmute. See your red microphone icon there.
Lois, good to see you. Good. Hang out. Send what you think. If you like it, let me know.
Well, on the bottom of your screen, if you get your touch down there, get your cursor down there, you should see a red microphone icon.
What do you think Mr. Miner did? Sure, something minor. She's got her own allowance. That's the way you do it. Training her right.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon.
Hello.
People of the state of Michigan versus Byron Miner, case number 07S00216. And case number 94S1856730. 95W01010077.
1001.
W167168B, 168C, 92W75603.
Good Lord.
95W101078.
He's got enough
And
charges.
92W75605. All right. Let's see what we have going on here. The first is a driving license suspended charge. We last saw you in September of 2013. You were given a pretrial date to appear September 19th of that year, for which you failed to appear, and a warrant issued for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Okay, was this with a Charles Pope or something?
Would have been with Judge Pope in 2013, yes.
Okay, I remember this now, yeah.
Okay.
How can you not
So
remember?
to just remind you, that charge is a driving while suspended license, second offense, and operating without insurance that occurred in 2007. In January 2007 specifically. You appeared for arraignment in 2007, appeared next in 2013, and then failed to appear in September of 13. So that's where we are right now with this.
Staying in
The rest of these look like they primarily are fines to be paid. Let me check one thing here.
It's Wild Woman Wednesday, baby. Come on now. Of course. This guy can't remember one court date
Looks like
from
the
the
rest of them
next.
have been taken care of. Just have fines to pay on them. Okay. All right. What brought these back to your attention, sir?
Pardon me?
What brought this back to your attention? It's been a number of years since you were last in court. How were you reminded that you had this court?
By the way, Jules, hallelujah. Thank you
Because
so
I
much.
want to.
It's payday.
I want to
Jules. Thank you.
restore my driving privileges.
I understand. Okay.
Oh, he wants
All
to
right.
drive his privileges back. I bet you do.
Let's start. Are you still in Ypsilanti or have you moved?
I live in Westland.
Westland. Okay. And LP in a court?
Yes.
Okay. We do have that updated. Okay. All right. So we need to get this back on track, particularly the charge that you've not, that's not been
sounds like
completed
fun.
yet. We need to get this back on track, get a pretrial hearing set. Ms. Abramson, are you addressing bond? Mr. Hawthorne, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Calvin Hawthorne, Public Defender Fellow, requesting permission to appear before the court with and on behalf of Mr. Miner under Michigan Court Rule 8.120 and the supervision of Assistant Public Defender Lindsay Abramson.
This is attorney.
You may proceed. Just the court does take note that Mark Hamilton was originally appointed counsel on this matter. Those matters appointed originally Mr. Hamilton are now under the purview of the public defender's office. So appointment has taken place in this one a long while back. Okay, thank you.
Your Honor,
This
at
kid
this
wasn't even
time,
born
Mr.
back
Miner
when
will
these charges come in.
waive formal reading of those charges and stand mute. We will request a PR bond and a pretrial date.
Thank you. All right.
None of them. I like to look smart.
2013.
Is anything good going on here?
4 days
Or,
for offenses.
Other than a very confused old man and a very young attorney.
let's go over here. They just started.
Because I wanted to go to be an architect. So I went to the military reserve. They told me get a degree, get 2 semesters in, and they'd allow me to go to the military, pay for my college. But once I got out of college, I went to take the ASVAB. I succeeded, and they told me they couldn't have me because I had some prior charges which were dismissed. And I kind of spiraled out of control from there. I kind of gave up hope, and I went to hang with the wrong people, started abusing drugs, and had responsibilities and just went about it the wrong way.
Tell me about your drug use. When did you start using drugs?
1998.
Let's get
right.
Good year.
After they wouldn't let me into the military.
Some of the best drugs out there.
Let me into the military, so I just turned to drugs.
What kind of drugs did you start using?
It's usually good too.
I smoked crack cocaine and marijuana, rolled in marijuana cigarettes.
At least he didn't just call it cocaine like most do.
I mean, how did you get started? How'd that happen?
Hanging out with some guys. I couldn't get, like I said, I couldn't get to military. I started hanging in the streets, hanging around the wrong crowd, just wanting to fit in, and really just started doing it just to fit in.
Like the Doobie Brothers, he was taking it
How
to the
long did you
streets.
do that?
About a year and a half, probably about up and about just before I come to prison.
How often were you doing it?
Started out just on the weekends, and it went to just about every day.
Look how he was so specific about rolling joints.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do.
He rolled marijuana cigarette screen.
You ever had any
Excuse me.
treatment outside of prison for drug addiction?
No, sir. However, since I've been incarcerated, I've taken the substance abuse program through the state, and also I'm currently a peer sponsor in the Newman Sobriety Initiative. I joined in about October 2020.
Hey
I've
now.
been sober since October 2020, and
Terminator, who are you saying to
helping
check
out
out?
the penitentiary, helping others.
What did she say?
Change their life around.
700.
You've been sober since October
Yeah, I just looked
2020.
Yes, sir.
Your last relapse?
I was in here just before
Yowza.
I went into sobriety. I've been sober since October 2020, sir.
I hear you. So tell me about your relapse prior to October 2020.
I had a little bout with marijuana about in 2009.
How many rounds did you get?
2009. Then I went and joined this, took the substance abuse program.
Okay, I'm on it.
It helped for a bit, but then things got kind of shaky for me about
Thank you, Jules.
between 14 and 16. I think about 16, I started using drugs again. And
What were you using in prison, 16?
in 16, I was introduced to methamphetamine.
It said, hey.
How often were you using methamphetamine?
Once a month,
Up.
then twice a month, and once a week.
How were you getting it?
Somebody's ass.
In the penitentiary sometimes.
Yeah.
Just sometimes, I agree. Not all the time.
How long did you, once a month for how long? 2020?
From 18 to 2020.
Okay. And you had a write-up in 2020.
Yes, sir.
What was that about? Was that about your-
Cranky Luke,
That was
it's
that was me
quite
coming off
multiple
the drugs,
thousands
and
of dollars. If you want to
got
send it
into a
over, I'd be
verbal
happy to
altercation with security.
try and do that.
I sent him a letter.
If you want to send over
That's when I
PayPal
knew I
or
needed help. And,
And
Cash
since-
App's fine.
Since 2020, tell me what you've been doing. Tell me about.
He was trying to say once a month and once a week,
There,
and then I think he didn't quite
well,
say it right.
it started off as a bunch of offenders just getting together, wanting to be clean. We used to go to meetings every week, every Friday, but they realized we needed more. And Gordon Newman and
No, he says that weird. Just hold, guys. You have to have license, right? It would be like us wanting to do a sporting event. You have to pay. Mikey said that weird. The Law and Crime Network stuff is just some of their other stuff that they post. It has nothing to do with high profile cases. We're not a TV network. You got to pay license fees to have your own cameras in there. On high profile cases like that. I just don't know how to explain that any other way.
If it doesn't say Zoom down in the corner,
yeah,
we
then
can't watch
you
it.
have to get. I mean, in some cases, you can just fill out paperwork, but in most of those, it's all about the money and who gets those deals. We're a tiny little 8,000 sub YouTube channel. Some people are going to chance their channel and rebroadcast that one,
and probably
We're
get
not.
away with it, but I'm just not looking.
But what Mikey was referring to is some Law and Crime Network does tons of different videos and such, not for cases. So anyways, I hope that explains it. I'm sorry we don't have rights for that, and from what I hear, we're not missing a whole lot.
My question to you is, how is that helping your sobriety? What is your plan
Well,
to stay sober?
God,
If you were
no.
to get out?
Well, my
You
plan
believe
is stay,
No.
12 steps?
my plan to stay sober is this, sir. What did you say last then?
Are you familiar with the 12 steps?
Yes, sir. I'm at step 8 right now.
Oh,
And I'm trying to make amends. I'm doing my best in reaching
You
out
better
as best
stay
I
there.
can to make amends. I know what I've done.
no requests.
There's no excuse for it. But I want to be better, and I try to help.
Tell me what your plan is to stay sober if you get out.
My plan to stay sober
comes to money.
is to go.
That's,
I have a residency plan with Keep It Real Ministry, and they want to help me transition back. And we doing community service. You know, they also have opportunities where we get to go around and speak, and they're gonna have people. We just help out wherever available. I didn't actually have a drawn out plan, but it's my ideally is just to go out and help people who are struggling with drugs, people who are confronted, who don't think they can have any hope or think they're at a loss and have to turn to crime
business
and find the help they need.
I hear you want to help people.
I can't watch pay-per-views and
How
or
do you help yourself?
just restream
helping
TV.
myself
You can't do that.
Johnny Depp don't like us. There, I
After
said
I finished
before it's my
Can't watch the Super Bowl.
obtain
Johnny hates
I get
us.
training and driving.
He will strike it.
Get my CDL
pretty
license
simple
to,
stuff.
do
How
transportation.
is your CDL license going to keep you sober? My question to you, let me stop.
Yes, sir.
took a substance abuse class, then you went back to methamphetamine.
Yes, sir.
You've yet to take any other substance abuse program while you've been in prison, but you
on drugs?
in fact is a really good thing. But you haven't had any substance abuse treatment. Have you had any long-term substance abuse treatment?
At least
Yeah, this is currently what I'm in right now. It's long-term substance abuse treatment.
Well,
program.
it's something that you and a group of guys do things for other people. And
Well,
that's
he's certainly not answering the right questions.
No, he's doing himself
you
zero
had
favors right now.
long-term
No.
substance abuse treatment, educating yourself on drugs.
Yes, sir.
When?
When I took the sobriety, when I took the substance abuse program 1 and 2 through the
And
Department of
right
Regulation.
after that, you were doing methamphetamines every month while in prison.
Yes, sir. We take. Oh, I apologize, sir. I forgot. I'm kind of nervous. I just graduated from Celebrate Recovery. I apologize. I just got the certificate just yesterday. I apologize.
That one time a month, Your Honor, it was yesterday to celebrate getting out of sobriety
Right here on
court.
the desk.
A little cloudy. Sorry.
Yeah, take and Celebrate Recovery, sir.
Let's talk.
Just graduated.
Okay, let's talk about some of your other programs. Did you take victim awareness?
Yes, sir. I took victims awareness.
That's good.
Tell me what you learned in victim awareness as it might relate to the 8 victims of your armed robberies.
Yeah, I'd hate to see
The
him
harm
sitting
that
there.
I caused them. They didn't ask for this. Neither did their families. Neither did the community. The community becomes victims too. Their families become victims because I traumatized them. I took what didn't belong to me by force and violence. And I can never replace that, the fear I put in their heart. What I do know is that since then, I will never use violence, never commit a crime for nothing at all. I'll never commit a crime. I understand these victims have feelings that they went about their lives living as citizens supposed to. And I just didn't care at the time. And
Haley, were you driving a white pickup truck today that
You had
Or is AA Ron
you pled
not at
guilty
home?
or you were charged with all of these armed robberies. And they dismissed charges against you as well. Carnal knowledge of a juvenile, indecent behavior, juvenile. What was that about?
Ooh, that's
at
not
the
good.
time,
You sure
I was,
God rides a Harley?
dating a girl who was about 16, 17. And
Is that back in '98 when he found the good drugs?
I was wrong. I just don't have any. I don't have an excuse for it. But since that time,
carnal
I've taken,
knowledge of a
risk management, and after completing the class, I facilitated for a little while at Camp D under Dr. Van Winslow in 2019.
That dude in the mill's a real so-and-so.
What would you say to your victims today if you had an opportunity to say something?
I like him and the one lady that usually sits
I
right
would say
here.
I'm very
Big glasses.
sorry. I would never hurt anybody again. And I would do whatever to make them feel safe.
Still there, huh? I like that his excuse was
Gordon, what can you tell us about Mr.
slept with a teenage girl,
Corey?
Your Honor. No excuse.
He is currently medium custody. He does do work. His primary job is a orderly, cell block orderly, but he does volunteer his time with this new men program, the sobriety dorm, working with other offenders, like himself. This started out a few years ago, and it's been a successful program with the knowledge that we do have issues in not just this prison, but jails everywhere. It's infiltrating into all of these facilities. So we've given these guys.
So he's a little embarrassed about the drug use.
Issues
I
have
get
the
it.
opportunity to come.
How did you get it?
Without consequence. If they want help, we're providing them with the help. We're putting them in the sobriety dorm. We have mentors, such as Offender Page, that are helping these guys get on track and work.
Get off crack.
Sobriety and maintaining. We have graduated a couple of classes. I think we're on fixing to graduate maybe our fourth class right now. And it's been a successful program, and it's being perpetuated.
God, they love their programs.
For people like Corey.
That's all they do.
Wanting to help and give back to that part of the population that's still having trouble here.
Are we working on any of the people bringing the contraband in?
Yeah. Shooting people on site that are bringing the drugs in.
Since the advent of this and his graduating from it, we've not had any problems.
Thank you, Warden. Appreciate your comments.
Yeah.
They helped him out any, but
zero to help him.
Byron Page. Ms. Page.
Hi.
Hi.
Introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like us to know about your dad.
I'm Corian Page. I'm the
Corian
youngest child
Page.
and daughter of Corey Page. And I'm here just to let you know, just to say that my dad did wrongful things. However, he's still a father. I'll be 25 years old this year, and my dad's been incarcerated for most of my life. Like you said, 22 years. So that's almost most of my life. And I really feel like anybody can tell you I'm my dad's biggest critic. So with that being said, I do give him a hard time. However, I love my father and I know that he's not the same man that he was. And not saying this because I'm his daughter, but I know that if he was to be a free man, that he would not come back to the penitentiary and that he would not do anything to jeopardize that, because he longs to be a father to me. He longs to rebuild the relationship with me as a free man. And
did she bring you to tears
look
also?
forward to seeing the day my daddy is not behind bars, because that's all I can remember and that's all I know. I've never known my dad to be a free man. I was only 2 years old. So
You never know your dad at all.
Yes, he has done wrongful things. Yes, he has taken. And yes, he have hurt people.
That was a strong arm robbery, right?
But just like those families, I have been hurt as well. And so, and even though, you know, his actions has not only hurt other families, but his family as well, I truly believe that he has learned from his mistakes. And he knows who's in control. And we truly believe in the word of God. And we believe that, you know, he does forgive. And true forgiveness is when you know in your heart that God has the situation in control. And I truly believe that this situation in its entirety, on both sides, is in God's control. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Ms. Page. Mr. Jamie Green. Miss Jamie Green, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Good afternoon, y'all. It's an honor to be here with you, and actually enjoy.
Frank R. James, you're right, in custody.
Because,
good news. Good news.
We had spoken with him earlier. Miss Jody had arranged for us to have an interview with him. We do the supportive transitional
Yeah,
living.
that guy did a bunch of
And one of the things
YouTubing
that
right before he did all the
was his honesty. When he sent the application to us, he divulged information that most people who are getting ready to come before a parole board do not just divulge. And he did. So we immediately got a call into him. And as we spoke, my husband was a little hard on him, but in the end, it was because we wanted to thank him for being honest. Honesty goes a long way when you're working towards your sobriety and your freedom. We have an ongoing substance abuse class that's in-house. It's a requirement of our residents here. We have several of formerly incarcerated men living in this facility. They all participate in that program. And we do anger management and life skills, that kind of thing. We believe all of those things would benefit.
Is she
Mr. Page
speaking
a
on
regular
him
basis.
from
And
a potential
also,
place he could
a
go? Is that
huge
what I'm
part to
understanding?
one's successful sobriety is that they are
Okay.
giving back. All of us on staff here at Keep It Real have been involved in substance addictions of some kind, and one of the reasons we do what
This
we
is
do
the
is
Keep It
because
Real
it keeps us
Ministries he
all
was
on track.
speaking of. For
Mr. Page would be
employment
in a great environment with
and a place
us
for 'em
to
to go.
be able to reunite with his family and build
That's
those relationships,
positive.
but
I
also
mean-
have accountability for coming and going, and probation and parole in this area work well with us. The other thing is we are definitely a different place, different people and different things, and he's going to need that change.
Damien, the brother?
environment. So if
Or
the
son?
board sees fit and releases him, we are
I'm thinking he's
extremely excited to get to work with him.
somebody was
and
in jail
have
with him and now
continue
he's
on
doing
the
good.
work that he's been
Same
doing
last name as
inside
the
of
daughter.
penitentiary.
Oh, well, never mind.
Thank you very much.
Maybe he's the
Damien
oldest
Page.
child. She was the youngest. Maybe he's the
Meet
oldest.
yourself, please.
Hello, hi. My name is Damien. Can you hear me?
I didn't expect that from us, but okay.
Okay, great. Well, first, just want to say thank you for hearing me today.
You sounded tall on the radio.
Before I start, I definitely want to say what I'm saying today isn't really to diminish anything. You know, what I speak of today isn't really to diminish anything in terms of the crimes or the people that have been hurt. I definitely acknowledge, you know, what they went through. Even I was much younger back then. Even then I did, and I always have. I know people were hurt, and I knew some of the people that were hurt even. And what's rung in my head for really over 2 decades now is the number 881. You have a number there as far as what his sentence says, but the original time handed down was 881 years. And circumstances that led to the sentence. You know, there was a whole bunch of other things happening in the parish at the time that, you know, caused that. But I will say that as much as it's haunted me, I feel like it saved my brother at the time. It saved him because excuse me, at the time, I had left. I left New Orleans. I went to college. I moved out to Georgia. And me and my brother were really close. And even before that, I could see us separating. I was going in one path, he was going another. So
What's this have to do with him?
really,
Now?
it was one of those things where you watch yourself grow apart, but you can't help but love this person so much. And eventually, after a couple of years, I found myself in a different city in San Diego, and I knew he was just having trouble. So I invited him to live out with me. It didn't work out. And, you know, the person he was, and when he finally, you know, ended up in Angola and things happened, he was really upset and really angry. I was kind of angry too. But the person I had become, I told him, I said, it's ridiculous what's going on. I said, but at the same time, you'll get out when you're ready. I've told him that from day one. I didn't make excuses for him. When your heart has changed, you'll get out. And who he was, and then watching over the years, you know, he succeeds, he stumbles, he succeeds, he stumbles. And then now it's more succeed, succeed, succeed. And it's one of those things where the broken family that we were back then, we've all grown. We're not just, you know, I'm not just a college student anymore. I mean, you mentioned that you had almost 50 years in the judicial system. You're not just one thing anymore. We've all grown into different things. And Corey has grown now into a person that is a lot more focused. And even sometimes I find myself skeptical of what he says, but then I remember, I'm like, he's working off of 1998, and he's working off of what he's seen for the last 20 plus years. So, I'm glad even the warden said, that his program is successful. He's not currently a problem. Corey hasn't been in prison alone. My dad is, in a couple months, he'll be
72.
He'll be 72 this year.
Is he still in?
My dad was in his 50s when my brother went to jail. My grandmother, believe it or not, in a week will be 90. It'd be a great birthday present for her to have her grandson home. But, he's not just number 345-030, a number I've committed to memory for 2 decades now. He's the brother that I looked up to. The brother whose clothes I borrowed when he told me not to, even though he's 6 feet tall. And
Okay. Okay.
And
Tell us about that one Christmas.
He always had the question, how to kid. I'm sorry.
We need you up, okay? We've got a lot of other people that we
Okay,
have to
I'm
take.
sorry. I apologize. Well, Corey definitely.
Appreciate your comments, but just wrap it up if you would.
No,
Absolutely.
they're not gonna. He
now
did not do good enough on the I've learned about sobriety. That's what I
I
feel.
know he has to
Oh,
with the
yeah.
housing situation, but I've
And
prepared,
going crazy on the drugs in there.
make sure that he has a home to come to. I live
It's
in
gonna be
Georgia,
it's gonna be one of those where they're gonna say we're glad that you got through these programs. Now you got to finish a couple of these, and I think when he was asking him the questions about sobriety, he wasn't.
If given that opportunity,
He wasn't doing very good.
Yeah,
on
there's
it.
certain things that they want to hear. And if you're not saying
Yeah.
them, you're not
There's
getting
keywords that they're looking for, and this guy's still going.
how productive he can be, and that's how we look at it. His family.
Thank you.
I don't know if you knew, but my grandma's
Now
They
we're
just
in
muted him.
opposition.
They muted him. He was still going.
yeah, it's like playing them off the Oscars.
Mr. Hand?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Thank you all.
That's
for
another
having
big
me
bad
today.
one too. Yeah.
Again,
Drugs
yes,
in.
my name is Jeff Hand, and my mother and father were Peter Hand and Gaynell Hand, and they were the victims of his crime spree of an armed robbery,
boy.
violent armed robbery at their home. My father was 67 at the time. He was dying of cancer,
Oh God.
and he had served his country in the army on the front lines of the Korean War, returned home to become a New Orleans policeman to protect his community. He encouraged me to become a prosecutor to help see that victims receive justice.
Nice.
On that night, they became victims. We were at a family gathering at my aunt's house in Metairie, my mom's sister, that we call Friday Night Seafoods. But my dad's pain level that night caused him to have to leave. So my mother drove home. My father got out of the car first so he could get inside to get to his medicine. He was in that much pain. So the defendant, cruising that neighborhood where my parents chose to live, built the only house they ever had, and thought they'd live their days out there together. My mother was gathering things out the car, and she then went to go in the house, and he saw, and he thought he had an elderly woman. She was 66 at the time. My father was 67. He thought he had an elderly woman alone, an easy target, and in a cowardly act, got out of that vehicle, put a gun to her head, forced her into their home. My mother was screaming. My father returned to the door to see what was going on and encountered the defendant and fought with the defendant. The defendant had a gun. He pistol whipped my father and broke one of his ribs, adding to his pain. The defendant then, as you know, continued on a crime spree over a period of time, not all in one night, with a number of victims, all violent crimes. And when he received that sentence, my father had already passed away, but my mother felt relieved that she nor anyone else would ever have to worry about him again. She was so distraught when I informed her that this hearing was going to take place, that he was up for a parole hearing, that she couldn't appear today. It just brought back too many bad memories. And so she asked me to handle it.
Hi, James.
And she and I adamantly opposed it, as you've heard today from his own mouth. This happened when he was on drugs, and 20 years later, he's on methamphetamine in the penitentiary. And he said he'd do anything to make those people feel safe when he got it. Anything he can do to make those people feel safe again. The only thing he can do to make them feel safe again is to stay in the penitentiary. Because if he gets out, his history is clear. He's going to use again. He'll be violent again. And next time, maybe they won't just suffer a broken rib. Maybe they'll lose their life because he won't want to end up back in the penitentiary. He won't want to leave a witness. So again, we adamantly oppose his release, and we implore you to deny his release today. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'd like to add one thing. My mother, like I said, they wanted to live out their days in that house. But when my father died, she was too scared to continue.
Oh.
And she had to sell that home. It broke her heart. Thank you.
Maya?
Anthony Randy Meyer, Assistant DA, Jefferson.
Yep. DA's
change. He went on roughly a 2-month crime spree, robbing quite a few people. Put one gentleman in the trunk of his car and drove him around. And then pistol whipped Mr. Hand when he was robbing them. His criminal record is extensive, violence, lots of weapons charges, and crimes against you. He was sentenced, in this case, to 782 years in prison. Obviously, he's not going to say they wouldn't get that. But he's been in since around roughly 22 years. Since he's been in Angola, 2002, he's had 37 write-ups.
Goodness.
So since 2002, 20 years, he's had 37. He's had disciplinary reports every year of incarceration, multiple disciplinary reports in many years, except for 2011 and 2012, in 2021. His last disciplinary, in the beginning of this year, his last report was January of 2020. In the last 4 or 5 reports he's received, that one in 2020, and I forget one of them was dismissed, he was charged initially with defiance, aggravated disobedience, giving prohibited behavior. And I think he was guilty of 2 of those 3. In 2019, he had a theft offense. In 2014, intoxication.
Yeah, it's a terrible microphone. And it's mumbly and just
it's echoey and it's feeding back in and doubling
and
up.
I've got it cranked all the way up.
And those types of offenses go on without its disciplinary reports. Very strong victim opposition, and I think it's been clearly indicated today that he needs long-term substitute treatment. He continued his own statements that he started doing methamphetamine once a month and proceeded, it got increased to once a week for a number of months while he was incarcerated. Clearly, he needs some long-term substance abuse treatment.
Yeah, and they're going to talk about that.
A lot more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Mr. Page, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before we vote?
Yes, sir. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I want to apologize to the state, apologize to the victims, apologize to my family. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Page. Pam, ready to vote? Okay. Mr. Page, sometimes our history is hard to live down.
I
you have
no idea.
Very bad criminal. Your crimes.
Not sure what we're going to do.
We got a mystery.
What you did to the Hand family is almost unforgivable. Armed robberies that you committed, the various offenses that you've had in the past. But it is not our job simply to retry your case. Our job is to try to determine who you are today and what you've been able to overcome. You've indicated to us that drugs were a big part of the problem back then. You were using drugs. You talked about how you came to prison and it's really helped you. You've done some good things while you've been in prison. There's no question of that. But you know, I just don't think you've beaten your drug problem. You've been very honest. I mean, I didn't know that you were using methamphetamines every month and then every week. I didn't know that. You were honest about it. And that's a very good thing to tell me. You've been sober, and you said you've been sober since 2020.
How do you pay for it?
2 years. The
Money on
Lord
them
has
books,
indicated
baby.
The program that you're in is a fantastic program. It's helping people. It's doing a lot of good things for people in prison. I encourage you to keep that up. But for me, based upon the fact that you've really only been clean for 2 years, and you had a horrible drug life, and you did some horrible things when you were on drugs, I do believe you need some long-term drug treatment to go along with what you're doing now. What you're doing now is good, and it really is. It helps a lot of people. But I think you need more significant drug treatment to be able to get some tools for you. It's not, as your lawyer said, or as Miss Jamie said earlier, it is about giving back, but it's not just about giving back. You've got to be able to take care of yourself before you can give back. Based upon law enforcement opposition, victim opposition, your criminal history, your disciplinary record, in fact, that I believe you need more drug treatment. My vote today is going to be to deny you, but I would encourage you to keep working, get some long-term substance abuse treatment, and the next time you come, if I happen to be here, I'm likely to vote for you, just not today. Ms. Renati.
Thank you, Mr. Marabella. Mr. Page.
That's exactly how we called it, huh?
Sobriety. I know that's not easy. And what you said since October of 2020, and I'm really proud of the work that you're doing in the sober dorm.
His brother and daughter don't seem to be surprised.
It's changing some lives. I do agree with Mr. Marabella. I believe you need to get
Everything changes when Jeffrey started
My
talking.
vote today is to deny you parole with strong encouragement that you remain write-up free, reapply when eligible to do so, and then have
Anytime you can, she's going to vote no. But if you want to go to this other one, I believe there's somebody in having a medical procedure done in court.
Yeah, I confer with my colleagues.
Well, we know where this one's going. And Angela, I believe it's every 7 years.
That way we won't use a slot if you can't find it, Miss Todd. I don't
Over
want
here,
to use
look
up
at
a
her.
slot on my regular
She was
docket.
laying.
Oh my God!
Go ahead and reset this to the 5th, and we'll reset
And what
this
is Matthew
to 9:30 a.m.
Matthew's just
and
chilling with a
hopefully we
Bruce
can
Lee
get him in here
photo
and
on
get
the
taken
wall.
care of. Is there
Thank
anything?
you, Your Honor. And just to
Listen.
qualify what I said before, after hearing Ms. Victoria's opening statement, I just want to make sure I'm clear with the court and I did not lie on the record. I have not been able to make contact with Mr. Guardado since notice of this hearing.
Right. Okay.
And, okay. So
You think Miss Sutton is trying to get out of trouble by being in the hospital?
Yeah, it's well played.
Having
The ER
contact with him
visit?
since that time about this hearing. So I just want to make sure it's clear. He has a new phone number. I will try it again.
That was
And
tough. That
thank
was
you
a
for your
lot.
time, Ms. Victoria, as well.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. And I'll see everybody back here with a reset on the 5th. All right. And
Only
course,
one
I'll
of these
return
people
to
has a job.
8:01
Who
on
wants
that
to
date.
guess
Thank
which one?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Sanders.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Sanders, you are free to leave the meeting entirely. This recess order to the 5th will be sent out to you and Ms. Todd by email. Okay, thank you. You're welcome, ma'am.
Well, the
Victoria.
AAG really upping, really showing up the judge there with all those nice
Oh,
books.
you only see the tip of his head, just the tip, and that's very unprofessional for Your Honor to be doing that. Out of Bell County, Texas, by the way.
Oh no, that's very green in there.
He's about to pass out.
Oh, I think he woke up.
I think he's been on the green for a little bit, and that's why he's very tired at the moment. I thought Miss Sutton was maybe having a baby. I thought for a second. Oh, hello, LaShawn. Goodbye.
How you doing?
She's got the boobies.
So,
Camera work. Bernard's a military man, it looks like. I saw you wearing I think he had an Air Force uniform on. He should probably take that off while he's in Zoom court, unless he's at work still. This is quite the characters. By the way, I went to the courtroom that the Terminator wanted us to go to. They are in recess at the moment.
Son of a bitch.
But I do have it still on, ready to go. Oh, he's got a doggy.
Only becoming aware.
Honor, are you actively in a hearing at this time?
Are we doing it or no? Is he talking?
No, I'm not. I was looking at a motion for continuance that was filed by Ms. Swartz in a matter, but yeah, no, I'm not in active hearing. Thank you.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you were ready for my case or not, so.
All right, what do you have?
What do you have?
The cause number is 328902. Filed Harrison Brown from Bell County.
They let anybody do what they want.
Should I have a dog?
Yeah, it's a dog. What do you think? It's a bear? You know what you're gonna tell me now? This is a bear? This is the dog, Green. A dog.
Obviously a dog.
Obviously.
Come on.
All right, let's go ahead and get your case called.
Oh, we're so juvenile. And I just need something to refresh my palate after that rough case.
DFAM 328,902, and this is in the interest of Brown minor child. Non-custodial party being LaShawn Harris.
Speaking of which, I'll be over.
There was service citation. This is matter before the court on petition to establish parent-child relationship. There was service citation. Okay, on Sean Brown back in December of last year. And let's see.
Thank you again, Jules, by the way, for PayPal.
Harris back on the 31st day of January of this year. So all parties have properly been noticed and served. So at this time, I ask for an opening from the state to tell the court what you understand, what the state's asking for here today, and what you understand any and all agreements to be and any and all contests. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. This case is one to establish paternity as well as likely to get a temporary order in place for child support because there is no agreement at all between the parties on any issues. And the statements being given by each party are something that the court is likely to want an attorney ad litem to investigate.
He's Johnny Depp. Of course he does.
State is certainly not opposed to that. So
this is the most lax Zoom court I've ever seen.
All right, let's get some testimony from these folks. This is a 4-year-old child now, 5-year-old. He'll be 5 years old this year.
He'll be 5 this year.
All right, thank you. All right, then let's get some testimony from the parties. Let's see what we're going to do as far as the temporary order is concerned, and whether or not I'll appoint the child an attorney. Thank you.
I don't know what that is.
All right, both parties present today, Mr.
Yes, Your Honor, they're both present.
Yes. All right, then.
All right, Terminator.
Mr. Garvin, go ahead and call. I'll let you go ahead and call Mr. Harris and Mr.
They're
Brown
talking about a
Harris,
child over here, so I'm gonna do us all a favor, and I'm gonna jump over here to 700. Terminator has promised us the best court we've ever seen. So if this doesn't go right, we're all coming after her after lunch. Okay. All right.
You want the jury to know that when the police got there, he had $30,000 cash in his house.
No, Your Honor, that was what Mr. Hughes allegedly had stolen from the defendant.
30,000?
Okay.
So the connection would be that if we choose to bring in evidence, proper evidence, not hearsay, but proper evidence of proof of other crimes, in this case, the drug trafficking, the narcotics trafficking between Tracy Hughes and the defendant,
because it is relevant. It does go toward motive identification, absence of
How are you going to do that?
We have witnesses that we would have testified to it.
They say.
Pardon?
Who are the witnesses and what are they going to say?
Well, one of them could be Martha Hill. One of them could be someone who wasn't called. There are the witnesses that are already on the witness list, Judge.
I'm sure we'll bounce over there soon.
What are they going to say? What are they going to say? You're talking about proof of other crimes.
Correct.
You're telling me maybe, maybe not, but I want to know if you put these people on who are on your list, so you don't want to tell me who they are, what are they going to say?
No, Judge. So for example, Martha Hill in the first trial was testifying about how she counted money for Walter Hill.
Okay.
And so that could go toward evidence of narcotics trafficking if she will continue to cooperate with us. That is a possibility. So we want to front that now.
Import-export business.
Ms. O'Brien, would you like to add anything?
Well, I love her hair. But
if you recall from the initial testimony at the first trial, Martha Hill is the sister of the defendant, Walter Hill. Martha Hill testified to the weekend prior to the victim's death, the victim coming into Mr. Hill's home. Martha was living with the defendant at that time.
Terminator.
She was alone in the home with the defendant and said that he went down towards the back door and towards the basement, and then he came back up, and she went out of the house for some time, left the victim alone in the defendant's home. She returned, the victim left, she made dinner for her brother, Walter Hill. While she was in her room, she I believe, used the words like it was men's business, so I stepped out of the room. And at that point, she overheard the defendant talking about a very large sum of money that was now missing. She further heard the defendant say words to the effect that we're going to get to the bottom of who took it. Additionally, at the initial trial, Judge, there was testimony from Mr. Jagodowski. Mr. Jagodowski introduced evidence of the victim being at the casino with him. They were friends the night before the victim ends up dead. The victim can be seen on that casino tape with a very large stack of United States currency. Mr. Jagodowski testifies that he believes that the victim was in possession of somewhere between $25,000 and $30,000. Since we're not alleging that having $25,000 to $30,000 United States currency in your home is in fact another crime per se. However, Judge, there could possibly be testimony that Mr. Hill, as well as Mr. Hughes, the decedent, were engaged in some kind of narcotic trafficking. It is not going to be our intent to introduce that. We just want the defense to be on notice that we are going to introduce evidence that Mr. Hill had upwards of $30,000 cash in his home that was taken. In the event they crossed the witnesses and the witnesses are to make comment about narcotics trafficking, the defense is on notice that that's where we're going, Judge. We will not elicit anything.
Just a second. I understand what I think I'm understanding.
Whew.
You see the deceased in the casino with a big wad of cash.
Correct.
Hill becomes a
Money
person
laundering.
of interest to the police. When they arrest him, he's got a big wad of cash.
No, Mr. Hill never has any cash, Judge. The evidence is that the night before he's murdered, the victim is at the casino with a large amount of cash.
On tape, Mike.
The evidence from Martha Hill, the defendant's sister, is that the weekend before the victim is murdered, the victim is in the defendant's house at a time when the defendant is not in his house. Martha Hill says she leaves the victim alone in the house, I think to go and get some chicken or get some groceries.
Chicken.
She returns and the victim leaves the house. When the defendant returns, the sister of the defendant overhears him talking about a large sum of money that is now missing from his house and that he is going to get to the bottom of that. Then hours later, the victim is on camera at a casino with a very large sum of money.
All right. Okay. So what's
Judge, as an offer of proof,
what is it? Excuse me. 1 second. What does this got to do with drug trafficking?
Submitting any of this
if
as
the victim's wife was to be questioned about where her husband got that money, it is our belief that her response will be that it was owed to him by the defendant for trafficking narcotics. We are not going to elicit that information. However, if the defense was to cross
What a cheap
and
microwave.
ask a question of the victim's wife that anticipated that, we want them to be on notice that that is
All right. So, okay. So you're gonna call Martha Hill.
Judge.
Sounds like you're not exactly sure what she's gonna say. You're not gonna elicit anything from her on direct, but if they open a door on cross, if you think the door is open, you wanna ask her additional questions that might involve drug trafficking. If you think if that happens just that way, then what you do is you ask for a sidebar. If you think a door is open, ask for a sidebar, and I will listen to what you have to say, and I will agree or disagree that there's the door is open sufficiently for you to go down that road. Okay. What else?
Your Honor, if I may briefly, we filed a written response to this, and I just want to put on the record that if the state wants to put in evidence about some missing money from Mr. Hill's home, if they have witnesses who will testify to that confidently, we don't object to that. We just strongly object to any insinuation or testimony about drug dealing.
Well, no. What I'm hearing, now I understand it. They're not going to elicit it, but they just want they're putting it out there just in case something happens in your cross where they think a door has been opened. They want to walk through the door. And what I'm saying is that before they start walking through the door, I want to check it out first. I want them to vet, and we're going to have a discussion about it at sidebar.
We understand, Your Honor, and
okay. They're not eliciting it, so they're not disagreeing with you. They think if a door is open, they're still going to have to talk to me. They can't just assume the door is open because they say so. I'm going to have to listen, and I will determine whether they're correct or incorrect. All right. What else?
Judge, finally, we have one motion in limine that just covers things like do not discuss possible punishment. We don't want the defense to get into anything.
We promise to behave.
Okay, so do you have any objection to my motion in limine 1 through 4?
No.
He's too
wonderful.
Kids.
Then we're in agreement.
April 25th.
You did say we promised to behave,
It's
right?
fair to say, Ms. Kremen, although we'll meet in court on that day, that there's a good chance you won't be able to answer ready for trial that day.
That's correct, Your Honor. We are going to be filing petitions for material witness certification. Those 4 witnesses testified in the previous trial. They are in different states, obviously, which is why we're requesting it.
Yeah, Mr. Counsels, but she's just being straight up and honest about it. We have that date. It doesn't look like they're going to be answering ready. So you don't have to wear your best ties and stuff because we're probably not going to be picking the jury that date. And you don't have to be as ready as you might normally be.
Understood.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We'll meet and we'll take the next steps and we'll sort out.
So we got murder, stolen money,
and set a new trial
drug
date.
trafficking.
Right, so the motion's limited have been heard. We're sending it back on the trial call for April 20th.
That is a thing, though.
We'll meet in person.
In court.
Receipts.
Okay, thanks, Judge.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Wait, Mr. Groman, can I
Yes.
just have the gentleman's name, who you're with?
This is Andrew Murphy, my co-counsel. He couldn't get Zoom to work.
Okay, I'm good. I just need
Thank
his name. Sure.
Okay.
He's a loser.
All right.
He's riding my coattails. He's
Now-
the Mikey of this bunch.
Kathy Lisco, you ready on Deshaun Johnson?
Judge, I'm coming down, right?
Need to get my client in here and then I'll be ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Where are you, Kathy?
I'm in the jury
They
room.
work out whatever they're doing. Run over here. This is a new one for me.
Obviously to the
95th District Court.
I like Judge Purdy's hair.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor. As it relates to the attorney's fees, I'll kind of go in reverse order, $1,500. If you look at
Bishop
the
School of Broadcasting, huh?
pleas on the docket, the way they come
She's
up,
extra bishop.
counsel did not
All of
say
them are.
whether or not we were opposed to the motion
Especially
to hold
Jared, who's
a
just like
conference until after they had
sprung.
motion. So there really wasn't a meaningful opportunity to even avoid having them have these fees incurred. They didn't pick up the phone and say, hey, we really voluntarily withdraw beforehand. But notwithstanding that, Your Honor, as I've stated before, there is no bad faith. They haven't cited a rule that says, hey, court, if someone makes a unintentional mistake. And I admit I did it. That we should be entitled to get our fees.
His hair looks like the guy from the Ancient
It
Aliens
wasn't
show.
intentional. It was honest mistake. And for that reason, we would ask the fees not be
Believe this is
not
Dallas.
be made because it's there's no basis, there's no bad faith that warrants awarding the fees. As it relates to the fact that it was late and on the motion of summary judgment, the only one of the affirmative defenses that is included in our motion for summary judgment would be the economic loss doctrine as relates to their negligence counterclaim.
He's a big fan of puzzles.
Which, back to my argument that this
Wacky
is not
Tie
they
Wednesday.
know that this whole since they filed their counterclaim, they've known that this case has been about a contract, and they also know that they don't have any mental anguish or physical damage.
Had to charge it.
Or on the basis of a negligence claim. So even to the extent that the court were to strike this affirmative defense, it still wouldn't be a proper negligence claim with regard to this case. It's a legal argument. It's not necessarily a factual argument or inquiry that will require them to conduct additional discovery. To the extent that they need additional discovery.
So that judge that we just was watching with the whole murder thing, now they've got somebody come down from like jail to talk.
Well, let's see.
That's three felonies. That means that if you pled guilty, you'd have to go to the penitentiary between 2 and 5 years. You find up to $25,000 and you can't get probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your lawyer is asking for a conference. What that means is that your lawyer, the prosecutor, myself will all talk to each other about you, your background, and about the case. The reason we talk is to see if we could all agree on something you plead guilty to where you would know in advance up front the sentence you would get. You don't have to plead guilty. You can go to trial after the conference, but if you want to do that, you can't ask for a different judge to hear the case because I learned about you in the conference. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
So do you want me to have that conversation with your lawyer so you know what happened if you pled guilty?
Please, sir.
Sure. Please have a seat. Councils and chambers, bear with me, Ms. Court Reporter. There may not be litigation in person. Okay.
Of course. Of course, the judge is going to have to get up and go take a pee.
When she said she served me, I was with my daughter, Tara, who's my oldest child.
Over to Grays Harbor, it's a
Her bank
contempt
cashing her
hearing.
check, and then we had an IEP meeting at my son's school. So there's no way I could have gone from Ephrata, Washington to Aberdeen, which is almost a 6-hour drive, and back again for her to serve me and me to be at another place. It's not possible.
Time travel.
And now
It's
I live in
possible.
fear because I have, and even though it's just his opinion, when Mr. Williams would state something like, this isn't going to be good. When I got home, I knew it wasn't going to be good. And so reading that in his declaration, yeah, it affected me.
You're saying that your perception of his statement was that it was a threat based on past
Yes, sir.
experiences with Mr.
Yes,
Williams.
sir.
Okay.
Oh,
And that's how
calm
you
down,
took-
Shannon.
took
Yes,
it as
sir.
a threat. All right.
Yes, sir.
The damn
I've
closet
submitted
wide open.
declarations from my employer. You got a declaration from Mr. Campbell, who stated that he put me on a spot and I didn't leave until early morning because we had to count bracelets and everything. There was no way that I was ever served. If I was served, I would have come to court like I did when Mr. Jesus, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but when the gentleman served me, I immediately, okay, I'll come to court. And I tried explaining this to the judge that it was not me. And
Dibs on everybody.
Miss Glassner has repeatedly just badgered me. When I ask her something, she'll automatically say,
Miss
I'm not
Glassner.
your attorney, I'm Nate's attorney, which I understand.
Dare you
but there are
feisty
some
one.
things like the big words. that she
Badger.
uses, I
They don't call her the
understand.
honey badger for nothing.
And when I ask her, she immediately, nope, well, I'm going to take it as your denial. Well, I wasn't denying it. I'm just trying to understand all this.
All right. Let me ask you some questions about following the hearing in September, around the 23rd, you said it was. And
Yes.
you received a phone call after that, correct?
Yes, Mr. Williams called my phone because his attorney gave him my contact information after there was a no contact order for 2 years. And his attorney said he got it dropped.
Okay. And your position is during that, actually, Mr. Williams' position is that during that phone call, he informed you that visitation was granted And you deny that. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there any chance anything in that file cabinet is worth
What is
keeping?
it that you believe he said on that phone call?
He
No,
said,
if it's
"Hi,
worth anything, it's
is this
hanging on
Shannon?"
the
And I
back of the
said,
door.
"Yeah, who's this?" And he said, "This is Nathan Williams." And I said, "Why are you calling me? There's a no contact order. You're not supposed to call me." And hearing his voice, it scares me. I am deathly afraid of this man. And I was never, he said, "Well, you missed your court date." And I said, "What court date? I don't have any court dates. We're done with court." And he
I
said,
like you put
"Well,
on a
come
dress
here,
shirt
I'm
but didn't
my
button
son."
it up.
I got my son now. And I hung up the phone. I was working with New Hope on the domestic violence. And I didn't know what attorney to go to because I was never served
Are they
paperwork
together?
who is
They
attorney
old
or
couples?
anything.
You're
All I
the
know-
petitioner in this case, aren't you, ma'am?
This case was filed when he was in jail.
I get that, but yours is the name that's at the top of all of the pleadings as the petitioner, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right, so you started this case. It's essentially your case.
So she must have filed a
have access
motion
to the court's file and
for
information
contempt
online.
against Miss Glassner, I believe.
After he called you and said there was some kind of a hearing,
Or him.
could you not have looked online to see what happened?
I honestly didn't think of that. I was too scared at the time.
Wow.
I really was scared because
just
the
a
lies that
bit too
Mr.
young.
Williams has told me and the abuse, I got scared. I honestly did. And when he didn't show up for his sentencing, I fled. I got scared because I knew he didn't get to kill me the first time. He was going to succeed the second time. And that is my biggest. Right now, we have a girl right here in Grant County that went through the same thing with her ex. And now
Uh-huh.
they're trying to find her body. And I don't want my daughters and my son to have to bury me because of him.
Tell
Not
me
looking
about
so good at the
hearing
moment.
that occurred in March at which
They
time
dated?
the court
Wow,
ruled
I can't believe that.
about the visitation. What's your understanding?
Nathan and her?
March.
Yeah.
I knew they
talking
said
about her
something about me
ex.
being in contempt, and I tried explaining my side, telling them that I really honestly was not served. Miss Neal never served me.
You were at that hearing in March?
Yes.
All right. And so therefore at the hearing in March, you must have known at that point that the court had ordered visitation. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Please explain to me in your own words why there has been no visitation between March and now. Or has there been? I'm making
Yes,
an
Your Honor.
assumption.
So she's in
Yes, Your Honor.
contempt for not
Christopher
allowing
went
him to see the
the
kid.
first weekend or the last weekend of the first weekend of April, Christopher went with his father. It was actually April Fool's Day. It's my son's favorite day. So he got to go with his dad that day. And then we met on Sunday and picked him up. The following weekend, which was just this weekend, was my weekend.
It goes.
And this Friday, I'm getting prepared to take Christopher to Easton to meet Mr. Williams. So right now I am following it. The
All
only
right.
reason
So
why I
do
did
you recall having a conversation with Mr. Williams' attorney in which you said something to the effect of, I'm not following the parenting plan until it's a final order? Did you ever make a statement like that?
my statement was there was a question on the service of Myra, and until
Is she so
this was
scared
done, I didn't feel safe until there was a court order
of him? Yeah,
When the
she's going to
judge
take
did
a
the court
child to see
order,
Nathan.
I
Is
obeyed
that
it right
I'm
away? And Christopher was at Easton. In fact, we showed up an hour early to drop him off, and then when we go pick
This is
him up,
Christopher's list.
Mr. Williams let Christopher come with us half an hour early, which he could have kept him until 6 o'clock. I didn't have a problem with that.
Who's she so scared about?
Nathan.
So,
Are you
the
sure?
other thing that confuses me is that you're
Mr.
acknowledging
Williams
that
is what
you
she
were
keeps
served
saying.
something by Mr. De Jesus in September, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, I was served. Oh, no, not in September. No. I didn't get served by Mr. Jesus in September. I got served by him in March
You've
of
been
this
served.
year, 2022.
All right, hold on. I'm going back through my notes.
It's going to run you about
Your
5
Honor,
bones.
I may
but yeah.
clarify as well if
Yeah.
necessary.
Go ahead.
Mr. De Jesus did serve Shannon in March, and she did allege during a prior hearing that she was insufficiently served. His testimony was primarily to establish consistency between her methods of evasion.
Well, she should have hired Dan from that other case to serve.
However, if the
that was his
matter
name,
of
Dan.
insufficient service also came up, that is also why he was a witness.
Do you recall what the claim was for insufficient service?
Ms. Shelton claimed that she didn't receive one of the documents associated with the initial March hearing, but I do not recall which one.
All right. Do you recall, Ms. Shelton?
Yeah, it was the proof of Miss Glassner being Nate's attorney, because I didn't know what attorney to send paperwork to, and that was the paper that I didn't receive. So,
all right. So your only objection to service was not knowing that Miss Glasner was Mr. Williams' attorney. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, may you repeat the question?
Yes. So your objection to service by Mr. De Jesus was that you didn't get the notice of appearance from Miss Glasner.
I don't have any objections to Mr. Jesus's. All my objections are on Myra Keels. No objections to Mr. Jesus's at all. All my objections are on Myra Keels because it was not me at all. I can't be in two places at once.
Okay. Do you have any witnesses, Miss Shelton, to call?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Where's your fake stars?
I have Deborah White and Tara Shelton.
Nice job.
Only the best.
And are they present in the waiting room? Yes. Were they subpoenaed for today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Are they present?
Yes, they are.
They're hiding in the closet right now.
Well, it looks like we're going to have to continue the hearing because we're at the end of the hour that was allotted to this, and right at the time that the court staff need to go and have lunch. Court administration, if you can hear me, do you have another date that's available? I would
love for the judge to be my neighbor, by the way.
Yes, today at 2 p.m.
It's a very interesting case.
Voluntarily giving up his right to trial by a jury, right to a pre-sentence investigation. All waivers are accepted. Factual basis, please.
Your Honor, if this case proceeded to trial, the evidence would show. Well, we would ask Your Honor to adopt the testimony that was previously provided during the motion.
Yes, I will incorporate by reference live testimony heard at the motion to suppress evidence. Okay.
Judge, in addition to that, just for the purposes of completeness, the defendant was found to be in possession of a holster. The holster fitted the weapon that was recovered in the area where the defendant was seated, and for purposes of sentencing, the defendant has the previously mentioned conviction for looks like it's called trafficking in drugs. Under that case number, I believe that the trafficking in drug conviction from out of state is equivalent to our class for possession of controlled substance.
What state was that in?
Your Honor, I believe it was Missouri.
Missouri. All right, Kansas City, Missouri. All right, found a factual basis for the plea. I find Mr. King guilty as to amended count 1. Judgments are in the finding. State of a motion as to the other counts.
Motion to not address part of the plea.
Okay. All right. He's come here. He's pled guilty. You want some time to get his affairs in order. When can you want to come back and surrender?
Would May 13th be okay, Judge?
Yes, sir. May 13th. Motion defendant. Actually, that's not a good day. Maybe a Monday through Thursday, if you don't mind.
I'll judge the 19th.
May 19th is fine. Mr. King, well, do you have a professional claim on his bond, Mr. Kent?
Judge, I'm going to discuss that with him at the next court date. Present a CDR.
All right. I'm promising to sentence you the minimum sentence here, which is 2 years in penitentiary. But you have to come back to court on May 19th. If you don't come back to court, you're sentenced in your absence. You've already pled guilty. There's rewards, all kinds of complications. You get up to 10 years and extended term. You're not looking to do anything like that. So please make sure you get here on May 19th on time, and don't get arrested for anything between now and then.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions? All right.
I thought we were talking about the guy sitting in front of us. We were somebody in the courtroom.
You're welcome, sir.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
That's a weird part. Listen, for the last 5 minutes, we'll go over to Judge Kim, just because Lisa's there, basically, you know. And also,
Drink it in.
Jasmine's sitting really weird today.
The victim and Rambo exchanged the money. There was a fight. The Rambo
Lambo. What's Lambo got to do with
shot
this?
the victim
Rambo.
Oh,
with
Rambo.
a 40 caliber Smith & Wesson type gun. Rambo was wearing a green sweatshirt.
Rambo usually wears a green sweatshirt. He's a military guy.
Well, Pez, watch out. It gets pretty
So forth,
addicting.
PD
Just
talked to another
FYI.
witness.
Ooh. Pike.
The victim was the one selling the gun.
Pew pew. Judge Kim, we've been over this many times.
Just as long as you're here for Wild Woman Wednesday.
And then
the one video in the
victim tried to
Walmart's worth the
rob
entire
Rambo's
show.
friend. Started fighting, and the victim was shot, and everyone ran. June 10th, Fort Worth police met with another witness. We were supposed to buy a tan Glock handgun.
Looks like she's in a nice vehicle, too.
They went to the high school to buy the gun. Hispanic male pulled his car in front of theirs, blocked them in. So the buyer gave
there it is.
The victim $400. Victim was holding the Glock. The Hispanic male was out of the car holding a handgun.
That's one of those, what do they call it, NFTs or whatever they are.
Tried to rob the victim. Said, make it easy.
Sell that.
Make it easy.
Split the money with me.
Hit the victim several times.
No, I don't blame you there, Kirnoth.
And this one person was, the deceased started to point the handgun at one of the people there. So that person shot one time.
Oh my gosh. It just keeps going.
Yeah, busy day.
And
for this kid.
Hispanic male wearing green hoodie was carrying an assault rifle.
One pew pew after the other. What's his mom got to say about this? Oh, never mind.
Jarvis, how you got involved?
He just do this? He just did this.
Just like threw up his hands.
Happens, Your Honor. Somebody say something. Don't push your luck with Judge Kim. Never.
You saw it.
Creed and Mikey. Yes.
That's your first NFT right there. He owns it.
That's right. As soon as I erase this board, it's gone forever. Gone forever. I call that one.
Miss Hall, I'm trying to figure this out.
The Vinny.
How? Who identifies Jarvis at the scene? What am I missing?
So the synopsis basically is, according to the police, Jairus's friend, the kid that died, was trying to sell a handgun to somebody else.
Right. No, I get the background. I just can't see where Jarvis is actually named as the friend.
So the police are alleging that Jairus and some other kids went with the kid who died as his muscle. And so because
But how, I mean, where's that link?
He's the enforcer.
Why are they saying that Jairus was there?
Huh? Like, how do we get to Jairus?
He was identified by
Like what page? Because I mean, at this point, everything that I'm seeing, it could be me. There's nothing in the police report that says it was actually Jairus there.
Uh-oh. Jairus might be walking.
Which one?
on the pages aren't numbered.
Hold on a second. So June 15th, Fort Worth PD interviewed. So the victim contacted him so they could hit a lick for $400. He and the victim were in a car. The victim also had two other friends, Jairus and Matthew, in a second car. All had BB guns.
PPs, Your Honor. BBPPs. This kid's been up to no good big time.
No, that's a bad one. But where do we go with the technicality if you can't like string it together? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna give this one just a couple more minutes. We'll figure out if we're gonna do something tonight. Don't forget, Wild Woman Wednesday is on its way at 4:05 East. We got to chase.
So is there anything that indicates that Jairus knew that it was going to be a robbery or that he participated in the robbery?
Yes, one of the other kids involved that they interviewed.
The other kid said that he was there.
Yes.
There was a huge smile. Did you see that?
Yes. Jairus and the friends to go with him. And
Lisa, we gotta know.
And so one of the other kids the police interviewed provided that information.
That's a huge smile from Lisa the second I put that up. That's not the first time that's happened. I mean, she's not looking.
She will.
It's in the paragraph on page 3 that says on 6/16 Fort Worth.
Right, no, I read that. That's
okay.
She moved her hair. She hasn't flicked her glasses yet. Nice watch, by the way, Lisa. Jeez.
I think I said that at the. It's coming back at the original.
Not that nice.
You did, Judge.
Yeah.
At that
Well,
time, I thought he was being held for his probation violation, and so I don't think that you really questioned it too much because you knew you could hold him on probation violation.
Vinny, see that who I be?
UUMV and evading arrest.
Those are out of county. Those aren't pending. Well, disposition is pending. The adjudication is not pending.
Right. But we have the North Richland Hills.
Oh
UUMV.
yes. That UUMV or theft, one or the other.
All right, Jairus. Well, you're looking at the offense of murder.
Ooh. Not murder.
I'm real iffy on that one, but I'm definitely confident that they have enough for the unauthorized use of motor vehicle. You've been previously adjudicated for a felony, so I am detaining you. Joy, why is his behavior level 2?
On April the 7th, he was confined for threatening staff, and he's just working his way back up from that.
Do we have a parent here?
No,
I don't see her, Judge.
But I don't
Okay.
see it.
All right. And then Lisa, so he's now 110 days. I think we just need to try this case.
It is set for trial, Judge. He has pre-trial set in July and trial set August 1st.
Kim, do you have time in your schedule to move it up?
Well, you've set me for some other trials between now and then.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just trying to make
That's a
sure
nice
that
way of
he's
saying
been
no.
here for a little while. So I wanna
That's correct,
be
Jared.
fair to him.
Thanks
If
to
you
you.
wanna,
No.
Like switch 2 of my trials or something like that, that's fine. But I think you've got me.
All right. Well, we know where that's
pretty much
heading. Guys, we appreciate you hanging out. 2 hours of live courtroom drama. Again today. Got to see some new faces and new players in the game of the Zoom court, which is always good. Kevin, right on time.
Finally here, Kevin. Kevin's given the blessing for us to leave, and that's all we
Yes,
need.
that's all we needed is Kevin to come in and give us his blessing. We'll see you guys back here again, 4:05 East. Wild Woman Wednesday is on its way. That dude's in a lot of trouble, by the way. That sounds like a complicated case, and you don't see that very often where he just says no messing around with the 10 days and stuff. No, let's just try this case and move it on. That's a little different.
Yeah. Moving on down the line, Creed. And that's what we're doing as well. If you haven't already liked this video, please do so now. We appreciate that. Be back for Wild Woman Wednesday, because if you like chases, and things other than that, we've got tons of that. Until next time, please remember.